when I started masters, I had no connections in the industry. I knew nobody at my university. It was completely brand new. What I did was I then looked online to see which organizations were working in the same interest areas I was interested in working in. And I just cold called them, or I went there and I said, this is what I studied for 4 years. This is what I done for my internship. I'd like to volunteer some of my time here, even if it's for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I just want to get involved and I want to learn more about what you do. People at NGOs and organizations are more than happy to take all the help that they can get. I did the same thing with the lecturers that I found interesting or that I thought had something of value to offer me as a student. And I went to them and said, do you need support or do you need help? Can I help you with anything? And then I also had people where I would see that I found their careers interesting, or I found what they spoke about interesting, and I would say, do you mind having a coffee with me for 15, 20 minutes? Just tell me about how you started, where you got, where did you get your inspiration from? Simple conversations, simple tasks, and that is how I got to know people. But I purposefully chose people I knew I could learn from, and people who I found interesting, and people who I just wanted to talk to. And I had to get myself out there. Most of the job opportunities that I received was through networking and through other people knowing me and recommending me to others who they knew were looking for work. And these relationships don't just happen overnight. As you get to know more people, you build relationships over time and you invest in those relationships. Always network with people that you want to learn from, people that can add value to what you are doing. The second thing is, once you've reached a point where you feel you can now add value to someone else, you need to start with mentoring other people the way you did. You were mentored by others. For me, that is the key to networking. Finding people you can learn from, and also finding people that you can pass on what you know to.
Thank you, Lynn.
Let me come into the point about networking with regards to the how. So there are many people who are very shy, and there are many people who feel that they don't have the confidence to approach people. Maybe they think that they're not interesting enough and all of that. When you network, you have to deal with those self-defeating perceptions of yourself. And what helped me to network when I started in my 4th year, in my PSYCH 4, is that we did that as a team. If one of us saw a workshop where an NGO needed a facilitator or an assistant, we went. So don't be so concerned about your income for now. What should be most important is to get your foot inside the door. When that happens, you will see that things will start to look up for you. And as Lala said, it is very important to connect yourself with people who are more experienced than you. And people who are more experienced than you are not always people who are your seniors. If I take an example, we doing and learn. We lead each other in different ways. We have got complementary ranks. So as you are moving with people, be aware whether they are stronger than you, and don't look at it in terms of the competition. Work together. And up until this point, we still go to the conferences and literally wait at the door of interesting people. If we have read up upon somebody and we are at our conference with them, go and say hi, approach them, ask something. That is how we network.
Thank you very much, Neziswa and Lynn. Our next question is from Lauren. Lauren is saying, some research internship applications close in May. However, Lauren's honors graduation is only in July, and she needs the certificate to register with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦_SSA as a master's research student. What can she do?
Can I just follow again? So she's already finished her core modules.
Yes. Lauren, are you here?
And,
yes. Okay. Let me unmute
she's
Lauren.
finished the core modules. She's finished the project. She's finished the internship.
Her honors graduation is in July.
But she's met all the requirements to graduate.
Yes. Lauren, can you answer that?
Yes, so I graduate my honors in July, but I'm still currently doing my master's now. But to register with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦_SSA, you need your honors certificates, which I don't have until July. So
are you already registered as a student?
no, because to register as a student, you need your honors certificates, which I don't have yet.
But you already enrolled in your master's.
Yes.
And you started your master's in January, and your graduation is in July.
Yes.
I would just wait till July till you have your certificate and then register as a student after that. Because you have from year 1 and year 2 of your master's to register as a student psychologist.
Okay, and you said the internships sometimes they ask you for your 𝑃𝑠𝑦_SSA registration on the internship applications.
Yes, so on the internship application, you must provide your master's letter from your convener that says you've completed all your modules and that you've completed those requirements in order to qualify for your internship.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you can't actually register as an intern until you finished your modules.
I see. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Lynn. Our next question is, hi everyone, my question is, I asked this to all psych research lecturers and I've got varied responses. What is the difference between registering with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦_SSA and not registering in terms of career opportunities? And that is from Richard.
So can I just understand? Registering with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦_SSA and not at all. And
Yeah.
is that what you're asking, Richard?
Richard, can you unmute yourself, please? There we go. Hi, Richard.
Everyone. Sorry. My question is just basically asking, what's the practical difference between registering and not registering in terms of career prospects?
Okay, so here's how I'm going to answer you. The 𝑃𝑠𝑦_SSA is the professional body of health workers. So if you are not on the list, it means that they do not regard you as a worker in the field. So, and sometimes there are jobs where they actually do want you to be registered with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦_SSA. I once applied for a job at an institution, and I met all the requirements. I had the experience and everything, and my CV was good. But because at the time I was not registered with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦_SSA, I was not able to take that job.
So just register.
basically. So yeah, so there is an advantage of having it, and you should have it. Lynn?
Yeah, just don't change.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I was one of the victims of the don't register because when I finished my master's, I registered as a student, I registered as an intern. And then during my internship, my mentor at the time told me she didn't see why I needed to register because research psychologists don't see any patients. I shouldn't worry about it. I'm still practicing as a researcher anyway. So I didn't register for years. And then when I got an academic appointment, they asked me if I'm registered, and I said no. And they said, but to supervise students, you need to have a registration number. And I must have been registered for 5 years. Mind you, I'd already graduated like 6 years before that. So for 6 years, I was unregistered. And then I contacted the 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑠𝐴, and at first they didn't want to register me. They said that I need to write the board exam again, do another 6-month internship before I can register. And I almost lost the plot because I had been working as a researcher for 6 years already. And then it took almost a year and a half of fighting with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑠𝐴, submitting all my documentation again so that they could register me. So now if students ask me the question, I say rather register. Yes, the fees are expensive. It's about 1,200 and something for a psychologist, a full registration, but it opens up your career opportunities. Even if I think about me running my own consultancy, it adds value to the company that I have a registration number, that people know that I'm registered with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑠𝐴. I can use the PPS insurance for professionals when dealing with clients, although they might not be counseling clients. There are also ethical liabilities when working with research participants that can cover you when you are registered with 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑠𝐴. So I would definitely say for now that people should register themselves in a category and be covered by 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑠𝐴.
Thank you very much, Lynn and Neziswa. We'll take one last question. We have 2 questions that are similar from Leanne and Fatima. Leanne asks, how important is it to be good at stats? And Fatima asks, does your stats percentage statistical skills affect your entrance into masters? I would love to do research, but I need to work on improving my stats skills.
I'm going to answer that first because my stats skills suck.
I think everyone has just breathed a sigh of relief.
Okay, so I am a qualitative researcher, and I've got more skills in that than I do in the quant. In the quant. So I would say don't fret about it. But do have some basic knowledge in it. Okay, so have it, get it. If it is not your strongest point, don't worry about that. So I'm gonna let the stats guru Lynn now talk about stats.
Oh, come on. So I've covered it from all angles. So I was a quantitative researcher when I started my master's. I really had no interest in qualitative research to begin with. And I love stats. I was one of those nerds. And then when I started teaching stats to the 3rd years and the 4th years, and when I started helping with interviews for master's students, that's when I saw it's not really that important to know stats. You're not expected to know everything about stats before you go into your interview. And as a researcher, once you're qualified, you get to choose what you want to work on. I mean, over the years, I've evolved into enjoying qualitative research much more. And at this point now, I choose to do more qualitative research. And when the stats comes around, I just get one of my colleagues who are good with stats, better than me, or a biostatistician, and I say, can you do the stats on the project? So when you are working, You don't have to know everything. That's something really important that I want you to take away. In your master's program, yes, you learn all the skills needed to be a good researcher. But when it comes to your research project, the research team draws on the strengths of each researcher. You don't have to do all of it all of the time. So like Neziswa said, her and I complement one another a lot with our research skills. And where I feel she might be better at something than I would say, Neziswa, can you please take responsibility for this part of the project? And she will do the same for me. But graduate school is not about being an expert. It's about learning specialist skills that you then learn how to put into practice. And as time goes on, you'll find what you enjoy the most. Maybe your gift is in designing projects. Maybe your gift is in doing a certain type of research method. Your gift may be in knowledge translation, which is taking what we find in research and in science and translating that to plain English for the rest of the people to understand what was found. Your gift may be in research documentaries. It may be in community work. But you're not expected to be an expert at every single thing or every single method when you finish graduate school. So graduate school is literally just about learning 10 modules, knowing how to do a thesis, and then trying to survive during your internship year and getting some practical experience. But no, stats is not essential for you to know at all. So everyone can just breathe.
Thank you very much, Lynn, and thank you very much, Neziswa. Lynn and Neziswa, do you have any closing comments that you'd like to make?
Okay. Okay. Who was
No, it's
talking?
fine. Go ahead, darling. I'll wait for you.
Okay. So the only thing that I would say to everybody is that take a deep breath and know that you've got this. The mere fact that you are here and we are looking for answers, it means that you are already equipping yourself. So you are on the right track, and don't be anxious about anything. If you need help, help is there. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah, I think that's
Neziswa.
an excellent closing remark. That I really feel the people on this call are already on the right track. You're already a few points higher than the other people because you're preparing, you take this process seriously, you know what you want, and you actively seeking answers. So just keep doing what you're doing. And if you have any questions, please feel free to message them to the DRM Facebook inbox on the page. Send your questions to Genevieve.
PsySSA, student PsySSA.
Yes.
Yeah, to Genevieve. Wherever you need help, it's there. And also, don't be afraid. If you are part of PsySSA and you're part of the student division, don't be afraid to contact any single person in that society to ask for mentorship. All those psychologists in the society are more than happy to work with you to answer a question. If you stalk people online in PsySSA and say, this person, I want to know more, then go. I stalked, I think, Johan Marais a few years ago when I was a student, about 10 years ago, I think now. I saw
Then
him
we
at the
still stalk
conference.
people.
This is true, but I actively stalked him, eh? I knew he was going to be talking at this one meeting, so I went, and then I went to go sit next to him before he went to speak. And then when he came off the stage, I had my book there for him to sign, and I said I want to ask him a few questions. That was an active stalk situation, but I was serious about getting to know people. Now we have the luxury of email. You can just send them an email and not be like a freak at meetings, like running behind people. But it's always there for people to assist, and please use the people who are in the society. That's why you pay membership fees, is to get access to all these psychologists.
Thank you very much. To echo what Lynn said, if you have any questions, if you need any guidance, please send us messages on all of our or any of our social media platforms. My email address is in this chat. It's PsySSStudentVice@gmail.com, but you can contact the PsySSA Student Division on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. These recordings will be made available on our YouTube channels, but if you would like this recording beforehand, please send me an email and I will send it to you. And again, if you have any further questions, please send them to us on social media or email. We will ask the relevant professionals to answer you. And I would like to give a massive thank you to Lynn and Neziswa, who are both busy with their PhDs. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules to answer these questions. I think that these questions have been very detailed and I appreciate it, and I know based on the comments in the chat everyone else appreciates it as well. And thank you so much for admitting that you suck at stats, because I think everyone's a lot calmer now and we can go into the week breathing. Thank you so much, Lynn and Neziswa.
Thanks everyone, it's been amazing.
Bye everyone.
Thanks so much.
Such a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye everyone, take care.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.